Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Helper. Today we're talking about something that affects millions of women but doesn't get enough practical support: dual caregiving. Being sandwiched between caregiving for kids and aging parents while trying to maintain your career, your relationships, and your sanity. And I want to be upfront. This isn't just going to be me telling you how hard it is. You already know that, right? What I want to give you today are actual emotional wellness tools that can help you navigate this without completely losing yourself in the process. Okay, so picture this. You're managing your teenager's college applications while coordinating your mom's medical appointments. You are working full time, you're trying to be present for your partner, and feeling like you're failing at everything simultaneously. The exhaustion isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and it seeps into every part of your life. So let's talk about what actually helps. First, I want to introduce you to something I call emotional triage. And this is something you can actually practice using tools like helprr. Here's how it works. In any given moment, you're probably feeling five different emotions: guilt, exhaustion, love, resentment, anxiety. Instead of letting them all swirl together into this overwhelming cloud, you learn to separate them out. Try this. Set aside 5 minutes, and I mean actually put it in your calendar to do an emotional check in. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Not what I should feel, but what I actually feel. Write it down or speak it out loud. I feel resentful that my brother isn't helping more. I feel guilty for feeling resentful. I feel exhausted. I feel scared about my mom's decline. Why does this help? Because when you name your emotions separately, they become manageable. They are not one giant monster of bad feelings. They're individual things you can address. And here's the key: you don't have to fix them all, you just have to acknowledge them. That alone reduces their power over you. Second tool I'm going to give you today is, and this is huge, learning to set boundaries even when it feels impossible. I know what you're thinking. I can't set boundaries. My mom needs me, my kids need me. There's no room for boundaries. But here's the truth: boundaries aren't about loving people less, they're about sustaining your ability to show up at all. So here's a practical script you can use: I love you and I want to help right now. I can do this. I can't do this because of this. Can you figure out another solution for that? So, for example, Mom, I want to be there for your appointment. I can take you on Thursday at 2 p.m. I can't do Tuesday morning because I have a work commitment. I can't move. Can we reschedule it? Or can we ask a friend, a sibling, help you on Tuesday? Practice this. Literally practice saying it out loud, because in the moment when you are overwhelmed, you need these words ready. Third, and this might sound counterintuitive, sometimes you need to practice emotional compartmentalization, not suppression, not pretending everything is fine, but intentionally creating containers for different parts of your life. Here's what I mean. So, when you're at your kid's soccer game, you're at the soccer game. Your mom's health issues exist, but for this 1 hour, you're putting them in a mental box labeled, I'll address this later. When you are in a work meeting, you are in the work meeting. The caregiving stress exists, but you are giving yourself permission to focus on this one thing. This is a skill you can develop. Start small, 5 minutes of being fully present for one thing. Use a physical cue if it helps. Touch your watch and think, this is my work time or this is my kid time. Helper can actually help you practice this transition, using it as a space to close the door on one part of your day before opening another. This actually helps. Fourth tool is, and this is about that anticipatory grief we talked about earlier, but with an action attached. You're grieving your parents' decline while they are still here. You're grieving the midlife you thought you would have. This is real and it needs somewhere to go. Here's the practice: create a grief ritual. It doesn't have to be big or formal. Maybe it's 5 minutes every Sunday where you light a candle and let yourself feel sad. Maybe it's a voice note you record to yourself acknowledging that you have lost this week. The key is you're not waiting until everything is over to process this. You're giving yourself permission to grieve in real time in small doses so it doesn't build up into something that breaks you later. This is exactly the kind of emotional processing that emotional wellness apps are designed to support, giving you a consistent space to put these feelings instead of carrying them around 24/7. Now, fifth, let's talk about decision fatigue. You're making 1,000 decisions a day for other people and it is exhausting. Here's a framework: categorize decisions into three types, okay? Only I can decide this. Rare. Others can decide with my input. Others can decide without me. Most caregiving decisions fall into categories 2 and 3, but we treat them all like category 1. Practice delegating decision making. You two figure out what's for dinner. Dad, you choose which shirt you want to wear. Kids decide between yourselves who uses the bathroom first. It sounds small, but removing even 20% of daily decisions from your plate makes a measurable difference in your mental bandwidth. So make decisions that you have to make and delegate anything else. 6, and I know you have heard self care a million times, so let me reframe this. Forget spa days, forget bubble baths. You need sustainable daily micro practices that actually restore your nervous system. Here's what actually works for caregivers. 2, 2 minutes of breathing exercises between caregiving tasks. There are tons of these on wellness apps. Try it out on helprr. A 5 minute walk around the block, not for exercise but for perspective shift. Saying no to one thing per week, just one that you would normally say yes to. 10 minutes before bed, doing a brain dump, getting all the tasks and worries out of your head onto a paper. These aren't luxuries, these are emotional maintenance, like changing the oil in your car. Skip it and eventually you break down. Another tool, finally, and this is critical, you cannot do this alone, but asking for help feels impossible when you're drowning. So here's a different approach. Build a support ecosystem, not a support person. This means one friend you can text when you need to vent, not solve anything, just vent. One sibling or family member who handles one specific thing. One professional or service that takes something off your plate. One tool like helper.ai where you can process emotions without burdening the people in your life. One community, online or offline, of people going through the same thing. You can find that on Helper. You are not looking for one person to save you. You're building a web of support where each strand holds a little bit of weight. Here's something really important. You need to maintain one thing, just one, that's entirely yours. Not for your kids, not for your parents, not for your career, something that reminds you you are a whole person. Maybe it's 15 minutes of reading before bed. Maybe it's hobby you do once a week. Maybe it's friendship that has nothing to do with caregiving. Protect this like your life depends on it because emotionally it kind of does. Look, I gave you 7 tools today. You don't need to implement all of them tomorrow. Pick one, just one that resonated with you. Maybe it's emotional triage check in. Maybe it's practicing the grief script. Maybe it's creating that grief ritual. Start there. And here's why platforms like Helper exist to give you a consistent space to practice these tools, to track what works, to process the emotions that come up without adding another person to your list of people to take care of. Because that's the thing. Taking care of your emotional wellness isn't selfish. It's the thing that allows you to keep showing up for everyone else, right? You're doing something incredibly hard, but you don't have to do it without tools. You don't have to white knuckle your way through this. Use the resources available to you, build your support ecosystem, and remember you can't pour from an empty cup, but you also can't fill your cup if you never put it down. Take care of yourself. Actually, actionably take care of yourself. I'll talk to you next time.